Hello, and welcome to another episode of Back Issue Breakfast Club. I'm your host, Kelly Guentner of Phoenix Sisters Cosplay, and Back Issue Breakfast Club is part of Back of the Cereal Box Podcast Network. For this week's episode, we're going to be talking about JLA Year One. JLA Year One is one of the very first trades that I bought when I started really getting into collecting comics. I was drawn to this one because it's an origin story of the Justice League, which I love the Justice League because of the cartoon, and I like the idea of being able, because there's so many Justice League comics, I like the idea of being able to jump on and not have to worry about the decades of history and not worrying about where I'm starting. And to give you an idea of where this is placed in canon, first of all, it's been retconned out of existence, but this was released in '99, and so it was after DC did their, like 15 years after DC did their Crisis on Infinite Earths, when they tried to simplify their canon, but as we know, those sort of reboots never really simplify things. For very long, but so they'd done their reboot, and then about 15 years into it, they tweaked things a little and went back and did some alternate histories and said, oh, hey, by the way, this is how it really happened when the Justice League was formed. And they, for some reason, decided to tell the story of the Justice League being formed and realized that Wonder Woman wasn't present for it, and Batman would have been still hiding in the shadows. And for whatever reason, Superman was busy. I don't know. So that's both a strength and a weakness of this comic, I think. I think it's not having those three seems a little wrong in terms of a Justice League origin story, but not having those three also gives other characters a time to shine. And so if you look at it as an Elseworlds comic, which it now is because it's been invalidated by reboots and all sorts of things, it's really interesting. So the 5 characters, we have our My Girl Black Canary, so that's the other reason I picked this one up. Aquaman, Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Barry Allen, the Flash. And one of the things I really love that this comic did is it really established that the legacy of being a hero. And so it really did a great job of, Black Canary was kind of the bridge between the old guard with the Justice Society, because her mom was a member of was Black Canary for the original Justice Society, and they were kind of the golden age of heroes. And then this new Justice League ended up being ushering in a new era of heroes, and it really, her character arc had a lot to do with her figuring out how to fill her mom's shoes as Black Canary 2, basically, and whether or not she lived up to it. And then she also had to deal with, she kind of goes in there thinking, like, she's hero worshipped all of these Justice Society members that she grew up with as her surrogate aunts and uncles. And she goes in saying, oh, well, the Justice Society did it this way. You all aren't quite as good as them, and that's kind of hiding behind bravado and also trying to hide the fact that she's worried she's not going to live up to the heroes that she grew up with and the mantle that was passed down to her. So that's her character arc. Then we have the Flash. Barry Allen just recently got his powers, so he's grappling with, well, am I still human? I was just a normal guy, now I'm not, and where does this fit into my life? And so for him to find other superpowered individuals and connect with them, that's pretty compelling, and that's a great part of Barry Allen's story in general. So this really did a good job of just distilling that part of Barry Allen's story and bringing it out through the team dynamics. Then we have Hal Jordan, who's just the hot dogging test pilot who really comes off as a lot of swagger, but he does have a heart under there. And there's a lot, and because we don't have Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, there's no foregone conclusion as to who is the leader. So you get a lot of questioning who the leader is going to be. So of course Hale thinks he's the leader. Black Canary also thinks should be the leader because of her legacy. And yet a lot of people, or everyone else, is looking to Barry because he's quietly showing these leadership qualities. And the most compelling character arcs to me were Aquaman, who is literally a fish out of water. So as opposed to his normal backstory, in this era, he had grown up underwater and now he's trying to figure out his way around dry land. So he doesn't know his own strength. His voice carries differently, so he mumbles a lot because his voice carries very differently underwater. And people treat him differently, so he's really struggling with that. And then, of course, Martian Manhunter is just really trying to figure out how to connect with people, how to connect with humanity. And also, they just keep discovering, he just keeps unveiling new powers. And I love that about Martian Manhunter because he is super powerful. And so I was like, whoa, you can go invisible? Whoa, you can go intangible? You're super strong. You've got heat vision, basically. You can shapeshift. What? It's just great. Like every new chapter, they discover a new power of Martian Manhunters, and the shapeshifting definitely comes into play a lot without giving too many spoilers. But it's interesting how they use that and how they really the team dynamics. Seeing these 5 very different individuals figure out how to come together, figure out how to trust each other, figure out how to be heroes and start to grow up together is pretty interesting. I will say one of the things I didn't love is the prerequisite. It was released in the 90s, so if there's a girl on the team, she has to be part of a love triangle. I hate that. Not compelling, not interesting. Maybe it was more unique back then. I don't know. It's definitely a unique alternate history. Like I said, it's a really good Elseworlds take on a Justice League. I see a lot of Marvel fans that kind of complain that DC is more like Greek god mythology stories where they're just not human enough. This, I feel like, takes the heroes down to a really human level, makes them very relatable. So if you're looking for more of that in your stories, this is a good book to read. And unlike the last 2 books I reviewed, this is an all ages book. And one of the best parts is I really love the art. I love that it is a lot of a callback to the Silver Age, and they really frame it in these newspaper articles, a lot of them written by Clark Kent, a name that pretty much everyone should be familiar. And just, yeah, a lot of dynamic action going on here. And again, it has a really Silver Age feel, just very everything you loved about comics when you first started reading it, whenever that was, I feel like is in here. It's a lot of fun. So tell me what you're reading this week. Tell me what your favorite Justice League era and run is, because I'd love to hear from you. But hope you have a good week. Happy reading. And again, I want to hear from you in the comments. Thank you for watching.